Some places seem impossible until you learn the old decisions beneath them. In the town pair, known as Barla, the border does not simply pass beside the community, it threads through everyday life. Barla, Hertog belongs to Belgium. Barla, Nassau belongs to the Netherlands, but they are not separated like two ordinary neighboring towns. Belgian pieces of land sit inside Dutch territory, and some Dutch pieces sit inside those Belgian pieces. The result is one of Europe's most intricate enclave landscapes, wrapped around streets, houses, shops, and family routines. The strangest part is not just that the border is complicated, it is that people have learned to live with it. In some buildings, the national address has traditionally depended on where the front door is. If a doorway is moved, the legal address can become a serious question. Not just a renovation detail, the reason reaches back long before modern Belgium and the Netherlands existed. Medieval lords controlled scattered plots through sales swaps, inheritance, and local agreements. Land was not always joined into neat blocks. Over time, those old property patterns hardened into political boundaries. Later treaties clarified the line, but they did not erase the patchwork. So barley feels odd because it preserves a very old way of owning land inside a very modern world. Different authorities cooperate on services. Policing, building rules, and local administration residents cross an international boundary in ordinary daily life, sometimes without making a journey that feels international at all. That is why barley is more than a border curiosity. It is a reminder that geography is not only mountains, rivers, and coastlines. Sometimes it is paperwork that survives for centuries, quietly shaping where a shop is registered, where a family lives, and which country begins at a front door. At first, Whittier sounds like a rumor, an Alaskan town where many people live in the same large building, and the main land route in and out passes through a tunnel that can feel like a gate to another world. Whittier sits in south-central Alaska, near Prince William Sound. It is not a huge city spread across easy land. It is a small community pressed between deep water, steep terrain, heavy weather, and the practical limits of building in a harsh coastal environment. That geography explains almost everything strange about it. The town grew around military needs during the Second World War and the Cold War era. Its ice-free port and protected position made it useful, but the surrounding mountains made access difficult. The Anton Anderson Memorial Tunnel, originally built for rail traffic and later adapted for road vehicles as well, became the key connection through the mountains. Traffic is controlled because the passage is narrow and shared in scheduled directions. Then there is Begich Towers, the large former military building that became central to local life. Many residents live there, and the building has housed everyday services as well as apartments. That arrangement can sound unusual, but in Whittier it is practical. When storms are powerful, winters are long and buildable, space is limited. Concentrating life under one roof is not a gimmick, it is an adaptation. Whittier still matters because it links people to Prince William Sound. It serves travelers, fishing activity, marine access, and regional transport. Its odd reputation attracts curiosity, but the real story is less about isolation for its own sake and more about infrastructure meeting geography. Whittier shows how a place can look unusual from the outside, yet become completely logical once weather, mountains, water, and history are allowed to explain it. Some towns spread outward. Whittier learned to stack inward. Coober Pedy did not become famous because people avoided the desert. It became famous because people found a way to live inside it. The town sits in inland South Australia in a landscape known for heat, dryness, and opal mining. For outsiders, the most surprising detail is that many homes and businesses are built underground. These spaces are often called dugouts, and they are not ruins or fantasy dwellings. They are part of everyday life. The reason is simple but powerful. Above-ground summer heat can be punishing. Underground temperatures are more stable. A dugout can stay far more comfortable without depending entirely on constant cooling. In a remote mining town, that difference matters. It affects comfort, energy use, and the basic rhythm of daily life. Mining also helped make the idea practical. Coober Pedy grew around opal fields, and digging was already central to the town's economy. Over time, excavated spaces became homes, churches, shops, and places for visitors to stay. The same ground that held valuable stone also offered shelter. The town's name is often said to come from an Aboriginal phrase, interpreted as referring to a non-Aboriginal person in a hole, though accounts of the exact wording vary. What is clearer is that Coober Pedy became a place where human settlement followed the logic of the earth itself. Instead of fighting the desert only from the surface, people used the ground as protection. It still matters today because it challenges a familiar idea of what a town is supposed to be. Streets and buildings are only part of the story. In Coober Pedy, the most important architecture may be hidden in the cooler rock beneath daily life. Together with border towns and tunnel towns, it proves the larger point. Many geographic oddities are not random at all. They are solutions. Strange places often become understandable when the landscape, the history, and the people are allowed to speak.